Welcome one and all to the Asia-Oceanic All-Star Tour. We are here at our first ever showcase game where the All-Stars will be taking on the Big Apple High Flyers New York Bent. The sun is now scraping across this fantastic city landscape. Both teams nearing the end of their warm-up. We are minutes away from a classic. Liam Grant alongside Eileen Murray. Eileen, great to have you here. What are you looking forward to in this matchup?
I'm really looking forward to watching how the All-Stars melt all their different playing styles together, because we know, coming from 9 different countries and just watching them play at different events like Worlds and just seeing how different of styles of play they have, it's going to be really exciting to see how they meld it all together.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the biggest challenge for this team. I got to watch them in their kind of warm-up match against Rival in Columbus, and at the start of the game they weren't really firing all cylinders. Teams were trying to play their own nation style, and that wasn't quite working. But honestly, halfway through the game, they were an entirely different team. They were playing so much better. They did win that game. I think it was more of a challenge match, fun match. I don't think it was a scoreboard at the field. It was more for just them to get used to each other. But they are an amazing talent. Having seen them before in many games, cover them, but also some new faces I saw at that game against Rival. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge, and maybe it's the challenge for the coaches as well. 4 coaches here. We just have Alyssa Weatherford, who just won a gold medal at Worlds. Then next day she's on a car to Columbus and coaching. I know she's going to Masters as well in a few weeks' time. Crazy amount of work she's doing for this sport, but it's going to be interesting to see how that team bonds. And this New York Bent team, quite a young roster, Eileen.
Yes, they do have a lot of rookies here today, a young squad. But what's been great about this area over the past couple of years is the maturity of the young players has increased. A lot more high-level high school and college teams, and Bent being able to draw from the maturity of the young players has been really helpful. So even though they've lost some of the veteran prowess, they've really come in with players with much higher skill level and the ability to integrate into systems more quickly.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And this is the first live stream game on the All-Star Tour. Also going to Philadelphia tomorrow. We'll be taking on Green Means Go. Then on to DC to take on Scandal, followed by Boston Brute Squad. And then our finale against the Sixers in Toronto. So loads more elite level ultimate coming your way. As we see the All-Stars taking to the line, just a minute or two away from the first pull. And how has Bent's seasons been going the last year or two?
They've been growing, they've been rebuilding. So one of the things about the New York area is that there's frequently a lot of turnover. People move into New York for work, move out pretty quickly, and so Bent has always struggled a little bit with building institutional knowledge over time because of this turnover, which is why earlier I said having players that already with the skill level is super helpful. So I know they're really optimistic about their season this year, and especially in the next couple of years, if we can keep these young players who are going to school in the area and have ties to the area, it's going to be really helpful moving forward the next couple of years.
And in the ultimate scene here in this city, do you find there's just kind of 2 or 3 elite clubs at the higher level, or is there kind of competition within the city? Do all the best players, let's say, go to Bent, or is there a rival club in the city, or how's that system of ultimate in the city?
Right. Well, so with the women's, Bent is the top team, but there are also several other women's teams, which is good too, because you'll notice that there's several women on the Bent roster that's played on Brooklyn Book Club and going back and forth between those teams, so there's a lot of opportunities for people to play, but Bent is the top women's team in the area. I feel like they probably compete a little bit more with the mixed division. There are also a ton of mixed teams in the New York area. Also Metro North is very close, so if you wanted to play on that team, it's just a train ride away. So I think there is a lot of competition, but Bent has built a nice brand. This is their 10th season, and they do have some people who have stayed. Megan Randall, who's coaching for the first time this year, she competed with them 9 years as a player. This is her first season coaching, so there is some consistency on who's here. So yeah, I think Bent is the team.
Moments away now from our first pull. We have 7 on the line for both teams. And the wind today, I was throwing earlier, it's very bizarre out here.
Yes.
Have you had experience playing on this field, or?
No, I haven't. But this field was used by the New York Empire last year as their home field, and so, you know, I've seen people play on it before, and it is very swirly. We're on an island, and so you're getting wind from all different directions, and then also being kind of in a stadium setting increases the unpredictable the wind conditions.
As we see Caligu Spalaris, better known as K-Spa, with the disc right now for Bent. Looks like they're going to come out on defense. And yeah, this is just such a spiraling wind. I was throwing earlier and I was trying to adjust for the wind. I think that was just a terrible idea. You're better off just trying to ignore it because it is going all which ways, and you're probably going to see that influence the game. A lot of bobbly discs in the warm-up, but both teams having plenty of time to adjust to that.
Right, and if I was coaching this game, I would just, exactly what you said, don't necessarily think of the wind as much. Just make sure that you have a tight grip, you're throwing the disc flat and hard, because you don't know what the wind's going to do as soon as it leaves your hand.
And something you'll see this AO All-Star team do on the line is they do a lot of hand signals. A lot of these players don't speak English or don't speak the same languages. So they've devised this hand signal system. It was Alyssa who came up with it for which way they're going to force, what they're doing at defense. So everyone on the team knows without actually saying anything. And the first ball is now up. Oh, Yashima straight to Captain Smith, who launches it. She's not afraid to. It's the other Aussie, Nikki, chasing it down, and that one out of bounds. Quick turn. Bent now the chance to break. Luisa Neves picking it up in the front corner of her own end zone. Looks like they're playing a horizontal stack. Good defense as that one brushes by Mara Neal. Hitting Rebecca Driver in the middle. Gets the dump reset to Neves again. Oh, and a wayward pass, and the AO All-Stars are going to get the disc back in with a short field this time. Moe Samashima from Japan takes it now. They're playing a vertical stack. Very tight to that sideline. A nice inside pass to Neal. One of the taller players from New Zealand, but has been playing a lot of her ultimate in the UK. We see a pick called.
So I noticed when the All-Star player picked it up, she did use a hand signal. Was that communicating to the team, you think, about what she wanted to see?
I do believe so, also using the WFDF hand signals. Back with Neal, this first stack. Nikki throws a big cross field. That one's going to work out. Beautiful vision. What a throw. Shiori Agawa gets their first goal for this AO All-Star team.
That was surprising, throwing across all the players onto the other side. But it's interesting that she decided to do the flat throw as opposed to over the top, and attending to the wind, knowing that the hammer probably wasn't going to work in that situation.
Yeah, when I first saw that throw coming up, I'm like, this is a terrible idea. That's the first thought in my mind. Something you wouldn't really coach people to throw that cross field across the stack. But she saw the space, and it was a great throw. So kudos for her for having the confidence and tenacity to take that on.
That was fantastic. She had great vision there to see that hole right through the middle.
And Shiori Aga, one of the players who just scored right there, hadn't actually really seen her play before, and she impressed me the most out of anyone in that rival game, actually with her handling, as we just see her score a goal there. But she was amazing, and we had a few other players asking about handler movement. I said, go watch Agawa, watch what she does. She is fantastic, just how she moves around the disc, always threatening, always attacking space. Also threw some amazing hammers, but I want to not focus on that. I want to focus on her movement in the handler position. Fantastic. And I think maybe some of the Japanese players are the best in the world at doing that kind of movement.
I would agree with you. Having played against them, it was always really hard to cover them. They're just so quick and versatile.
Oh, and that pull just lands inbounds and rolls out. That was Holly Reeve. Played with Pie Wagon just recently at the World Ultimate Club Championships. Difficult place for Bent to take it from, but they get it to the center of the field. Oh, and a turnover now, a chance to break. Sangi from India takes it. Tries the break side hook, but that one's going to be gathered up well by the Bent defense. Brittany Kaplan now. And there isn't a strong wind, but it is quite going right to left. Oh, and a great grab. Stasi, one of the star players on this team. And they now swing it to the break side. Getting a bit more momentum now. Oh, and a pass to the middle. Gets cut out well by Yoshida. Holly Reeve again. Yoshida. Hits Kyra. And looks like a pick's called. Not sure when that pick occurred, but looks like it's going to be a turnover.
I'd really like to see the Bent players being a little bit more aggressive going to the disc instead of waiting. I know sometimes when there's variable wind like this, players might be a little bit hesitant. I think the best thing they can do at this point is just be really aggressive, because we see the All-Stars already being super aggressive on defense.
And that disc is going to find its way. Oh, what a play by Sangi, getting huge. Massive layout block in the lane. Kim. Kyra. Throws one down the line, tight channel, and they get their own D. Alex Taylor cleaning up the trash there. And as you're saying, Tara Hitson pinning up the disc now. It is quite scary to run full pelt at a disc when it's bobbling in the wind like it is. And that's maybe stifling this Bent offense at the moment, but they have the disc back. Hook goes up. Oh, an amazing grab over Yoshida. That's Sarah Thoman. Oh, great grab, brilliant point so far. They're knocking on the door now. High release backhand, loads of time, takes it down. Alex Taylor, great point for her.
Yeah, so Alex Taylor is one of the rookies that are here, throwing to another rookie. Oh, Sarah, first year on Bent. So getting the rookie chemistry happening on this team is nice.
Yeah, there's a few wayward passes there from Bent, but they trust their teammates to come get him. Everyone with some heads-up play, and that's going to happen a lot with this wind. So you got to be on your toes, see the disc.
And you could come over here, that'd be great.
But I think the AO team will be happy with that start. Their D-line created a lot of turnovers.
Reminder, folks, we're playing with diff rules.
And that really tires out an offense. I mean, you know, if the offense has to grind after 2 or 3 turns, after a while that's going to wear on them, especially if they are playing true O&D lines.
And Sarah Tolman made a huge grab in that point to get them a lot of yardage.
I love the heads up, picking up the trash from behind. Just such great awareness of the field.
Yeah, great point from Tolman. Taylor getting Bent's first goal. This will be a 100-minute game, unless either team gets to 15 first. Playing WFDF rules, so a bit of adjustment for the Bent team. I don't know if they've ever even played WFDF rules before.
Well, Amy, number 33 on the line right now, I saw her at Worlds, so she was there playing a bit. And I know they have some alum from Bent who were at the Worlds competition, a couple playing on Brute Squad, someone playing with Columbia. So I imagine that they've had some experience, at least with teammates, in experiencing the rules.
K-Spa again with the pull. This time going for the flick pull. Almost throwing in kind of a Huck style, but it makes its way down the field. Carry to Esther. And it's a zone look now from Bent. Really tight around the handlers. It looks like a 4-person cup.
And that's a great idea, capitalizing on the lifelike experience these players have with each other, possibly playing a zone, making them really work on that chemistry, getting that turn right there.
uncharacteristic drop from Ogawa. Now Bent with a chance to break. Oh, and not the handler movement you want there, the first pass. And a high pass to Ogawa. Does not have the height advantage, and 3 Bent players all over that one. Camilla hits it to the near sideline. Amy Leader now finds the inside channel. K-Spa wants to get that swing off. Has to go back to the near sideline. Camilla again working hard. Same 3 players touching this now. The handler is just working up the field. Leader now getting some yards. Emma Chin. At the moment, the All-Stars quite happy to let this Bent team swing, but not giving them much room downfield. Oh, and that one well intercepted. Great D, Alicia Louie. That was her first touch of the disc, and what a time to do it.
You can feel the wind getting stronger already through this point.
Shiori. Another hawk up the field. This time is Catherine Smith in acres of space and runs that one down with ease. Score now 2-1 to the All-Stars.
And that was just a hold, so we saw Bent just do the same thing, the Bent D do the same thing that AO defense did to their offense, making them really work over several turns, hopefully tiring them out a bit, capitalizing on keeping them on the field for as long as possible.
And that was the second hook we see there from Akari. Not afraid to throw it again. The first one not so great, but that one on the money.
So pretty.
And I think that's going to happen naturally for this team is you'll have a lot of the Japanese players handling and maybe some of the bigger receivers, the Australians, as you saw there, Catherine Smith cutting. That can happen naturally. Nobody told them to do that in the rival game. They kind of just let them fall into whatever rhythm they found themselves. I saw that happening. It could be a good tactic.
Well, that makes sense too, because especially if you get into conditions like wind, having handlers that have worked together before, at least in the same system, is going to be really helpful.
I was talking to Alyssa Weatherford on the car journey to New York, and I don't have Twitter, Eileen, but I know the Bent Twitter does a lot in terms of social justice and not just about an ultimate team. Can you tell us a little bit about that, or?
Yes, the women on Bent are very committed to issues of gender equity and social justice, and they have several people on the team who are very active in different projects around Ultimate. Specifically, Brittany Kaplan is helping to produce a documentary about women and minorities playing Ultimate called The Sky is Red, which is really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And you have Mickey Pearl, who's picking up the disc right now. She is a board member on Disc NY and does a lot of work with gender equity in our local club community.
Ali Harris now the disc, and that's the first clean point of the game. Great play by the Bent offense. Ali Harris, one of the stars of this team, doing well there to box out. Played for a Nemesis, I think, for 3 years before.
Well, in the spirit she showed right there, pausing to make sure that the player was okay, is something that I'm really happy to see. Even when this game is competitive, it's always good to see people really taking care of each other on the field.
Yeah, it's great seeing high intensity ultimate like this, but also a lot of respect and understanding between the two teams.
But Ali's body positioning there was really great, gaining the positioning, making sure that she was able to read the disc. That was a really nice read.
Yeah, Vera Sethuraman doing everything she could to try and make a play, but just didn't have the angle to attack the disc. And that was really our first clean point of the game. No turnovers. I think that's going to happen more as the game goes on, as they adjust to the wind and figure out how they want to play offense.
I agree. First point jitters, I think, happen a lot, but I think they'll settle into their rhythm for sure. I just wanted to point out that Julie Sussman, 71, is the one who scored that, and I'd see she's one of the veterans who have stayed on the team. But she came from mixed and to start to play on Bent, and having her just rock steady veteran abilities is really helpful for this young squad. So I'm excited that she's playing again this year.
The score is 2-2 so far. Liam Grant alongside Eileen Murray in their first AO All-Star game. A lot of players here from the New York area, but also quite a few stragglers left over from the World Ultimate Club Championships. I've seen a few Aussies over there. Many nations represented here in New York cheering on the team.
Well, and Bent does have a player who previously played for Columbia. She's a rookie this year on the team.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tough mentally for anyone playing World Ultimate Club Championships. You know, coming home a day or two and then you're straight back into another competitive Ultimate game with a new team. And Mickey sends another big disc again. It's Mara Neal trying to get under that. Whoa! Amazing ups there. Shoots straight to the end zone. And they answer back. The AO All-Stars with a great hold of their own.
Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, Alicia Louie gets the goal, but the huge play from Mara Neal. I thought she'd gone up too early, but she showed all the doubters that she has big ups.
That is also a kind of a trust throw too. You know, seeing her with a defender right on her, throwing it up anyway, just knowing that she's going to be able to get that field position.
Yeah, that was Nikki Dunmall throwing it up to the Kiwi, Mara Neal, who doesn't hesitate for a second to hit the fantastic, speedy receiver in Alicia. The only Hong Kong representative on this team. And I was talking to Mara at lunch yesterday, and she said she went to a physical therapist. And the therapist said, you're a fantastic runner, but looks like you're holding 2 TVs under your arms when you're doing so. So that was their words, not mine, but she can run. It works for her, you know, running right around the field there.
Bigger than that, Julie Sussman. Yeah! Oh, yeah! Yeah, thank you, Maritime. I see you. I don't understand it. What does that mean? Go to the frisbee, is it? You know, I'm glad you're
Still
here.
on serve here.
It's nice to be seen.
Yeah, so Camilla is the one from Columbia. She wanted to give a shout out to everyone from Columbia who's watching the game tonight. She came to the U.S. in 2017. Last year she was playing on a mixed team from Brooklyn. This is her first year with Bent, but she was on the Revolution for 7 years and was on the Colombian women's national team. So, you know, she also had some experience with diff rules. There she is picking up the disc.
Yeah, well pulled by Harry Kim out of South Korea. And now we see a zone look from the AO All-Stars. I do know what the zone is, but I'm not going to say. We'll just let them play it out. A lot of talk from the sideline.
Well, the difference here is AO, they're playing a 3-person cup, whereas Bent was playing a 4-person cup. So AO is allowing more cutter defenders to stay downfield and relying on their quickness on the cup to make it hard for the handlers to get it through there and downfield.
It looks like they're trying to force Bent to make a lot of passes. Not really putting them under too much pressure, but forcing them to play small ball after that great hook in their last point. Tara Hitson. Oh, that swing is going to get there just about. Sarah Toman dumps it back to Hitman. Stasi, oh, and cleaned up well. Harry Kim gets the D. Sangi. Kyra. Shoots up the line. That one's going to hang. Oh, and a great layout bid. Amazing catch by Kana Kobayashi, who's looking for the end zone, and she's going to get the cut she wants, and that is the first break of the game. Goal for Minori Yahata.
The wind really helped that throw down the line. It looked like it might have gone too far, and the wind just seemed to hold it out there for her to get that nice layout grab.
For those of you who don't know, that's called the layout. It's like a
Yeah,
basketball,
Kana
but instead of
Kobayashi
it's onto a frisbee field.
plays with Huck
Let me see
out
some
of
hands.
Japan. And
Okay, no questions yet.
one of the players who doesn't actually have a huge amount of English, and she'd be getting a lot of translation from Minori Yahata, the goal scorer there, who has a big role in this team as translator as well. So every single time the coaches speak, Minori has to translate, and it's actually interesting dynamic to see so many different languages on one team, and we see that amazing form there from Kana.
Another big thank
And
you
then
from us.
Has trust their teammates to get that late cut into the front corner. And that is the first break of the game. They now lead 4-2.
I'm actually wondering if the far side of the field is easier to be throwing down. We see a lot of the play happening on that side and a lot of players pushing to that side, so I wonder if it's just easier.
Perhaps just trying to impress the crowd over there, you know. Get closer to all the fans. If you're going to do amazing layout like Kana did, might as well do it on that far side of the field where everyone can see it.
That's true.
You know, if you're going to be an all-star, you got to be able to play to the crowd just a little bit, you know.
We have a nice crowd here. This is really a nice group of people coming out to support Women's Ultimate in the New York area. Like we said earlier, Ben is very active in the community, and seeing all the support that they've gathered for this game is really awesome. Let's see how they bounce back from that break.
As I said earlier, wind going slightly right to left, but is quite swirly, so we'll see how Meehan does with this upwind pull. Getting a little more hang.
So they did change the line a little bit. Brittany Kaplan is picking up. She's a veteran on the team.
Oh, and a drop there from another veteran, Ali Harris. It was a good cut, but that wind maybe catching her out. See Meehan now at the disc. Swings it to Reeve, goes up line straight away. Reeve throws the hook to who else? And it's another goal for Kana Kobayashi. All-Stars, another break, 2 in a row now.
Oh, I hope that Tara's okay. She's holding her shoulder a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry, Ali.
Yeah, and Ali had some time to catch that disc. Made a great cut. Maybe just too much time. Took her eyes off it slightly. Maybe as you see her holding her arm, that would be a huge loss for Bent if she was out for this game. I hope she can recover and get back on the field.
Trainers are going to talk with her now. We'll find out in a couple of minutes how she's doing. Was this a Bent timeout that was called?
You'd imagine so, and that is a classic timeout. You know, you've just got conceded 3 points on the trot, 2 breaks, momentum with the AO All-Stars right now, and maybe just allowing time to see how Ali Harris is getting on. As you see there, Holly Reeve with that assist. And again, as you said, on that far sideline, so probably easier to throw hawks anyway on that side of the field.
Yeah, I have to say I was a little bit surprised to see them forcing backhand after the turn because of that. We see Jeff talking to Jeff Babbitt, head coach of Bent, talking to his team right now. It's been a hard season for Bent. Jeff also plays in the AUDL, so he's been missing some of their events. He has been able to attend some of their tournaments and the team retreat, but they did take a big roster this year and a lot of new players. And so building that chemistry and the challenges that come into trying to implement what they've been doing without both coaches can sometimes be hard. So it's great that he's here tonight working with Randall. Although everyone I've talked to, Jeff and the players have said Megan Randall, the assistant coach, has been doing a fantastic job carrying the load while Jeff's been privileged enough to have his own opportunities to play in the AUDL.
Yeah, it seems like he does put some focus on the pro season, but from what I've known, like in previous years, he actually puts more focus on coaching in the club season than he would do playing, and a lot of coaches do that, but maybe not. He's quite a young player as well, Jeff. It kind of reflects this team. It's a young team, young coaches, which says a lot for the future.
Yes, I mean Jeff is when he started coaching last year, I was just 23, and I know that was a little bit challenging to come in as a young male coach on a women's team, a lot of women being older than him. But you know, I also know that he's really also committed to giving back to the community because he recognizes his privilege to be able to play professionally and wants to make sure that he's giving back to the community in ways. So he has decided to, you know, forego his club season so that he can focus on building this, you know, helping build the program with the women in New York.
Yeah, we have 4 coaches here for the AO All-Star team. Kieran Hudson Cron, as he's better known, just played Worlds with Pelt out of Ireland. You have Kaushik Sampat, or better known as Buddy, Tom Fraser, T. Frey from New Zealand, and of course, head coach and world champion Alyssa Weatherford.
I would love to be coached by Alyssa. That would be amazing.
Yeah, so I'm actually getting some sneaky coaching in from Alyssa, because during evening time she'll go down and talk about plays and all the things, and I'll have to often ask questions. So I'm getting a secret coaching course from Alyssa as well.
Well, that's great. Couldn't ask for better.
Yeah, and I watched her play in that women's final against Revolution, and she was on the O-line, and she just didn't make a mistake all game long, really controlled the game. And at times that O-line looked a little boring, and that's what you want to win a world championship. You want to look a little boring. She just hit all the right passes. Her decision making is fantastic. And she talked about how when she was a younger player, like, she often wasn't getting picked for the best teams, or people were taking chances on her because she didn't have a lot of maybe the crazy athleticism that other players would have, but they saw something in her, and that is just how she controls and reads the game. And that's what makes her a great coach as well. So Brittany Kaplan picking up the disc, looking to answer back to the All-Stars breaks. Stasi, it's night break pass, bit more momentum now. Looks like a lot of switching on the forces. Looks like it's a forced middle from the AO All-Star team. Driver grinding at the unders here, Bent. Another high release backhand. Team that's very fond of it. Janine gets the swing, staying with this horizontal stack, even though they're quite close to the end zone now. Nice lateral cutting from K-Spa. Tries to jack it in, and she does. Great goal. Good grind. Stasi gets the goal.
That was some nice movement. It was interesting that AO decided to go person this time, or match. When their zone had been so effective the last 2 points, they were probably just trying to switch it up to keep them, making sure that Bent wasn't getting too comfortable, but they looked pretty comfortable there for sure.
Stasi Tangolini, another player who's giving back to the sport of ultimate, does a lot of high school coaching, and she's a teacher as well. And I'm talking to her before the game. She was saying that she was learning how to do the shoot, which I didn't know what it was, but once she showed me the dance, I then recognized it, and her students have said to do the same but just cooler. But I can say she knows how to do it cool on the field. She caught that with great style and ease.
There are a lot of players on Bend. A lot of the women in the New York community are very active, giving back to the community. They do a lot of volunteering, a lot of coaching. We actually are going to be, Disc NY is hosting their first ever youth summer camp this year in August. A lot of people will be volunteering for that and coming out, so just trying to grow the community and give back. Although New York does have a good history of ultimate at the high school level. Stuyvesant, we have an alum from Stuyvesant on Bent this year, but also high schools in New Jersey. We have 3 Watchung High School alums that are also really excited to be playing together again in women's club. So the better you grow your youth, the better your club teams are going to be in the future.
We now see the AO All-Star O-line back on the field after their D-line got 2 great breaks, but Bent doing well to call the timeout and stop the bleeding.
And we know the Bent D-line can get turns. It's going to see if they can convert this time around, being patient, moving the disc, which they were doing really well. Amy controlling in the handler position. So let's see if they can go ahead and make it happen again.
No WFDF timekeepers here, so no 2 whistles to signal when to resume the game. I think teams are maybe taking a little more time than they should, and now Bent realized they should pick up the disc and get this one moving. Jessica Whelan is going to get this pull in. The carry.
There's their 4-person cup again.
Yeah. Neil now with the disc. Oh, bobbles up and they get their turn. looking to get a break themselves. Amy Leader.
Nice catch by Margot on the side, laying out.
Yeah, she knows how important this break opportunity is, but it's gathered up by Sneha. Trying to move fast to Allstars now before this cup can set up, but Bent do well to contain, and they've transitioned to a match defense, not going for the cup on the turn. Moe. Nice leading pass out to Esther. And I see the big hook going up to Neil. Looks like she's got a great position and does fantastic yet again. An easy pop in the end zone. Neil has been a tyrant in the air so far this game.
Yes, and with a player like Kyla coming on, you have to really aggressively go up, and you saw her go up again, going up maybe what looks like a little bit too early, but her getting it anyway every time.
Yeah, great play there. And see what happens. Nearly all the Bent players come and try to make a play, but they can't compete with Neil so far in the air, and they often leave. You see Shiori Ogoaz backing up Neil, trusting her to get it, so she's just free in the end zone as soon as Neil comes down with that. And that forced backhand again, maybe allowing the All-Star team to have those backhand hooks, which they seem to favor. And yeah, it's an easy shot for Neil into the end zone, and she played with a marvelous DC at World Ultimate Club Championships with some of her family, and it's kind of a dynasty, the Neils. Now, have you heard of Aaron Neil, her brother as well? I think she's the only Neil not living in New Zealand at the moment, but wanted to play with her home nation club team. And that is Ogoa with another goal, who in the rival game was handling the entire game, controlling it, and now she's just popping in goals. So you can see there's still a lot of dynamic and movement in sorting out this All-Star team, but doing so fantastic so far. As you see buddy coach Firminia there, I think he's in charge of just calling the lines, and Alyssa's going to administer the tactics.
I feel like as long as Bent offense can continue to control the disc, make sure that they are patient with their throws, the defense will eventually wind up converting.
Quick update for the crowd. Neither of us has sweated through her blazers.
Now the wind has died down again.
Yeah, it's just really blustery, and I think what I learned from the warm-up is just not take it into account, try to ignore what's happening, because you try to adjust to it, and then you just look a bit silly when you throw it out of bounds.
And season 6.
Harry Kim now with the pull, and after that rival game yesterday, the All-Star team talked about learning superpowers of your teammates, so they all have to say something they thought was impressive, and Catherine Smith said that Harry Kim, they're really impressed with her pulls, as you see this one going out of bounds, but definitely has some cannons. So they'll take it from the brick mark. It is Stasi again, and we see the zone look from the All-Stars, disguising it early on.
Now they're trying the 4-person cup. Different look.
I think a lot of teams would call this a pommy. I think it's the Australian zone they're trying out. And I just love how this isn't really a Japanese zone, but how the Japanese players playing it. Their head is on a swivel constantly. Kana almost getting the D. I think they're going to discuss whether it was up or down. I think Kana's just checking, and it will be called up. Janine is going to keep that one after a great catch. Difficult place to be now on this sideline for Bent. Getting high in the stall count and still on the sideline. Meehan trying to get involved and pings one to the end zone. What a great shot. Eye of a needle throw.
Well, there goes my assumption that this side of the field is going to be harder, because they just walked it up the side of the field doing some small passes, and then was that Stasi who threw it? Taking her opportunity.
Yeah, that was a laser of an assist. Had to get there fast.
And we saw Janine involved in the play, handling just a bit ago. She's also a rookie on the team, just graduating from Rutgers University down in New Jersey.
And that is a great catch by Tolman. As you said, Stasi with the assist. I think that's something that Catherine Smith would be baiting just a little bit, because has to be get there so fast, as we see
Please come to this side of the field.
the All-Star player diving across. Gets a clap from her opponent. Great spirit there. Everyone complimenting each other's great bids and layouts.
I wonder if Stasi even saw the defender over there because she was kind of behind the cup. It might have looked like her teammate was wide open.
I think that's what she was trying to do, be a bit sneaky, kind of hide in the end zone, but Stasi rocketed it there just in time. I think you have to be brave against that 4-person cup, you know. You can keep trying that small ball, but spaces get tight, and you at least have to threaten downfield. At least make the opposition believe you're going to throw that hammer, or you're going to shoot to the end zone, else it'll give you more space around the disc.
So I think we've now seen 4 different looks from AO All-Stars in terms of defense. So really taking the opportunity to show that they are able to play well together quickly and be versatile in their D looks, keeping the offense on, off balance possibly.
Yeah, I was listening to all their defensive looks, and I'm like, oh, this could be a lot to take on for a team in the first game together, really. But they've all been great defensive looks, and it's nice that they have this in their back pocket already at the start of the tour. Moe. To Casey Guo. Back to Moe.
So it looks like Bent really just tried to have a zone look in the very beginning to stop any of the hucking that we'd seen them so successful on.
But the hook now comes up, and it's Louis chasing it down, and there's a buttery biscuit from Catherine Smith. Put it on the platter.
That was a beautiful throw.
Yeah, something Catherine Smith is famous for. Got to see her years and years ago at the London Under-23 Championships, where she was just outstanding there. Playing with Frisky at the World Ultimate Club Championships, probably had a more reduced role. And I was disappointed not to see such amazing backhands like that when I covered her game, but she's going to be throwing them on this team, and I'm glad to see it.
I hope that Bent takes notice that most of their scores have been on these big backhand throws. Try to adjust their defense so they can try to limit that happening.
Alicia Louis with a great goal. Yeah, I think if, that's probably 2 or 3 backhand assists in a row, you got to force them to throw the flick hook, because maybe they can, maybe they can't, or maybe they're less comfortable with it, but you can't keep getting beaten by the same tricks over and over again. Still very early in this game, though. We'll see if they make that adjustment. All-Stars now with the chance to take half, though.
So how do they communicate when they're on the line there in terms of deciding on the strategy?
Well, mostly they've devised this kind of hand signal technique where they're like, one shoulder be forced one side, the other shoulder forced another. There's a hand signal for forced middle. There's hand signals for transitions. It's quite a complex code they've established. I don't want to give too much away and how exactly it works, but I just think it's a really cool initiative, as Alyssa that came up with it for communicating with many people not speaking the same language, but they can do that perfectly. They can all read the hand signals. So Holly Reeve, another pull.
Oh, that is a nice pull.
Yeah, skipping in the air, difficult one to catch. But saw it the whole way was Camilla. And again, another defensive look now, forcing backhands themselves now. Me and Bent are going to do the same, send a backhand hook. This one, another great hook to respond to Catherine Smith's great goal.
Well, that
Julie Sussman.
Yeah, and that was Allie throwing it, so obviously she's doing okay. Her shoulder is better. She was able to throw almost a full, 3/4 of a field huck down for the score for Julie. So glad to see that she's okay.
Yeah, we'll see if the All-Stars come out with that backhand look again, because that is the smoothest offense they've played all game. Happy to take the backhand hook opportunity. Sussman showing her space. The first ever club team she played on was called Your Mom, which is a classic silly ultimate team name.
From New Jersey.
Things are a little different down in New Jersey, I hear.
Yeah. Well, I live over in New Jersey.
That explains a lot now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually went to Jersey City yesterday, arrived in New York maybe 8 o'clock, and we spent 2.5 hours, me and Kieran Hudson, dropping off 2-3 players at different hostings. Fantastic teamwork from Ben to host all of the All-Star team, but quite sporadic and I guess small apartments in the New York area and Brooklyn, etc. that we only had a few players in each house, and it was difficult. We spent a lot of time, but we got a big tour of the city. So I got to see Jersey City, Brooklyn. I think we did 3 of the 5 boroughs in about a 2-hour space. It was nice to see them. I wouldn't really recommend it as a driving tour, New York.
Well, my husband and I frequently say, driving from New Jersey to Brooklyn, you might as well be driving across the country, having to go through, just go through a tunnel, go through the entire city and stuff like that. But there are a lot of leagues, and so we have local different borough leagues. So there's a lot of ultimate being played in all these places. But yeah, getting to one place is definitely challenging.
Has there ever been a borough ultimate off? Brooklyn versus the Bronx, Queens against Manhattan?
We should. That would be awesome.
I think it should happen. That'll be our next live stream, coming to you thanks to the Ulti.tv crew. But for now, we'll focus on this All-Star game. Catherine Smith picking up as we see the bent defense change to a forced flick. They get the swing off. Alicia, Louis, Esther now, and they get the backhand as they swing it to the break side. Ogwa in a lot of double coverage and great defense.
The receiver looked a little bit deep for that huck, especially with 2 tall defenders on her.
Oh, and a wayward pass to the middle. It's just this D-line offense hasn't been clicking that well. They've got the disc, but in terms of converting it, they haven't really come up with huge answers. Esther to Smith. Mickey fakes the big hook, now looking for the reset. Gets the upline from Smith. Neela space in the middle, but a communication error leads to another turnover. Nevis. Active force from Smith. Now getting the high release backhand, which I don't know if they trained that one bend, but they've used it countless times already in this game. Facebar. Oh, good catch under pressure by Sussman.
That's Christy.
Yeah.
She actually played with Dartmouth a couple of years. Got some wins with them, so she's an experienced player. Knows how to catch under pressure.
Yeah, Christy Kelly. The under now coming. Oh, and you felt there was a lot of pressure on this D-line offense, and they were getting passes off, but it didn't look that comfortable. And you felt that turn was coming.
Well, and Sarah it didn't look like Sarah thought that disc was going to her. Looked like she thought it was to somebody else.
Nikki now. Oh, and that is a crazy swing that almost worked out. I'm not sure what Dunmo was thinking there. Asking a lot of Smith to try and come up with that one.
Like how Louise is walking slowly to disc, everyone take a deep breath.
And for me, I'd like to see them come up with some kind of set play. They seem to be playing organic offense on this D-line, and it's not working out usually for them yet. Paceback doing another crossfield massive flick play. This is going to be a hard one to catch, and it is caught. Christy Kelly stops the All-Stars taking half. That was a crazy throw. Looked like you were playing indoors and not on an island here in the middle of New York City.
That was amazing. Christy had her defender beat. She had the space, and K-Spa just put it out there into space, knowing she was going to go ahead and get it. Christy's very speedy.
Yeah, won 2 college national championships with Dartmouth, 2017, 20 and 18. Knows how to come down with discs in the big moment, and I would be scared catching that one. Like, it could have easily cut her in 2, but had a lot of faith, stayed with it. As you see, the blade not working for the All-Stars, but Ben try a blade of their own, and it comes up trumps.
And this is what I was talking about earlier in terms of how the bent squad is young, but Christy having this experience winning college nationals, she has nerves of steel. So even though they have young players, they have a lot of experience.
And she is pumped up after that point. She knows the D-line needs to start taking some scalps, getting back into this game. Allstars now had a chance to take half.
Well, and they have B-Cap and Tara on the line with them for this D point, an extra pair of hands on the field. So, if they do get the turnover, hopefully that will help them tie this matchup.
Yeah, I think this is a good opportunity for them to kind of stack the line. If Allstars score, well, then they've half of a break, so they can get fresh legs out there anyway. But they want to maybe take this to sevens. It's a good opportunity. If they don't convert it, or if they do, they can call a timeout and get those legs fresh again. So I like to see kind of before halftime teams kind of stacking their line and going for that big break opportunity.
Janine has the disc for the pull, rookie on the team from Rutgers, as I said before. When I was talking to Megan Randall before the game, she was saying how Janine has just really easily been able to integrate herself, onto this team, being very smart player and even being an O-line staple. Megan Randall was really impressed with her ability to do that as a first-year player on the team.
Just a few hours ago, the All-Star team were hanging out in Central Park, and they were talking a lot about the kind of the goals or the ethos of this team. And one word that kept coming up was trust. And I think that's obvious in this bent team as well, putting a lot of trust in the younger players. Everyone's equal on this team, and the younger players are definitely stepping up. Moe Sanishima. Have a go for the swing. Meehan gets open with ease. Very slack mark on her. Rowe gets the nice continuation to Moe Sanishima, who doesn't hesitate. This could be half. Yahata, makes the big layout, gets a fingertip to it, but is not caught. Good pressure from the bent defender.
Lauren Woods, she goes by Elle Woods, another rookie. Her closing speed there was amazing.
She did get touched to it. I didn't think she got there in time, but incredible pace, close down speed. It looked like Yahata was going to catch that one, but very difficult with that defensive pressure. And now a chance to take it to sevens if they can convert this break. Bent answering back, so you see the floodlights coming on now. The sky is starting to get dark, and this Bent team starting to put the foot in the gas as they just can't get the continuation swing. Short field for the All-Stars, and Meehan, or I should say Sophie Taylor, gets the goal to take halftime.
That was some really nice defense on the goal line there by the All-Stars, making Bent have to take that wide swing in order to prevent being stalled there. Again, looking like a team that has played together, even though this is their second game.
Yeah, Sophie Taylor with the goal there. Plays with Fuse Ultimate, hails from Brisbane. And you'll see, if you look closely, a lot of the AO All-Star team are wearing temporary tattoos to say #HuckYes. And if you're wondering what that is, it's a sexual assault and awareness education campaign run by Upwind Ultimate. You should check out Upwind Ultimate on Facebook. They also have a really cool podcast, and Sophie very much involved, and she's put up some videos on the AO All-Star Facebook channel, so you should check them out as well. But doing a lot to spread awareness and education around sexual assault.
Good news, we're live on Facebook, on my Facebook.
We also had Upwind came and did did an event in New York area for Disc NY this winter
planned. Hurry
on
up.
gender equity.
A little something planned.
As you see that
Courtesy of the feminists.
crazy pass early in the first
A
half.
New York City mixed team.
Nikki Dunmall
out of New York
being
City.
creative. And a lot of unusual throws in this first half.
Our halftime show is brought to you by Ample Nutritional Slurry, like Soylent.
Well, I think that one and then K-Spa's
of the feminists.
Glade into the end zone for the break were probably my two favorite. Oh, that's nice D.
Sangi getting huge in the lane.
game for you is a combination of the popular
Comes out of Chennai in India, where they run a big tournament, Chennai Heat, which is a 7-on-7 sand tournament. And as you can imagine, in the baking heat in India, don't know how those players do it.
They are going to demonstrate sort of what happens.
In India, is there a lot of beach ultimate being played?
Yeah, I'd say beach is probably more prominent in India. Definitely they've done better on the international stage on the beach surface. We saw Sangi playing with the Indian national team before, and it was something they mentioned to me before. I was actually on the subway here in New York, and they were talking about how a lot of these Southeast Asia teams play more mixed than a single gender ultimate. So they're really relishing this opportunity to come out and play with other females here in the US and take on the best teams, because they would have predominantly played a lot of mixed, and maybe I know the India team came under some criticism before about not using their female players enough, but as you can see, definitely being used here. Sangi, Veera, Sneha, 3 Indian players on this roster.
And I frequently think having these kinds of experiences with playing a lot of mixed and then being able to come and have this experience, they're going to bring back such a wealth of knowledge and excitement that, hopefully over time they can increase female participation in the sport and at some point, develop a strong women's team as well.
We continue to have good news in that we're still live on Facebook. Yeah! Let's score here! Score here too! Whoa!
It's now coming up to 8 p.m. here in New York. I'm sure there's many fans watching all over the world. I believe it's coming up at 9 a.m. in Japan. So if you're watching this game, having your breakfast here in Japan.
Wow. Oh no. Whoa. Oh my God, Avery Albert, you were doing so well before. What happened?
As we see Shiori Ogawa getting a goal there. Probably top scorer so far for this All-Star team.
You get nothing. Who wants to participate? Come on down. You can race the winner.
Doing well always to support Neil. Big deep receiver so far.
Partner in this. Christy Kelly was sprinting. Get a cone and get your best friend. Oh yeah!
So the All-Stars coming from 9 different countries, and as Liam was saying, lots of mixed being played, especially in countries like India and South Korea. So
okay, contestants line up.
When I went to World, I participated in a gender equity forum, and people were talking about the different cultural barriers that women experience in different countries in terms of playing ultimate and playing competitively. So having experiences like this are invaluable, but also just generating more content with a diverse group of women is really important. There's a group called the See Me movement that has been on Twitter a lot, where they just are highlighting and focusing on female athletes and providing just the mentors and the role models for young women to see. So, hopefully people all over the world can go ahead and see all these different women playing, and then in the future know that they too can be on the stage at some point.
Yeah, and lots more great ultimate to come in this All-Star Tour. As I said, going to Philadelphia tomorrow to take on Green Means Go.
With another Eileen co-commentator. Eileen Peach-Regan will be commentating with you tomorrow, so don't need to learn a new name.
And we're going to try and do a quick interview here with Ali Harris.
stop filming, Bucky. This is riveting stuff. But focus on this champion. They're almost champions.
Hi, this is Liam Grant here at Ali Harris, halftime in her AO All-Star game. Ali, that was a fantastic game to watch. What was it like to play that first half?
It was really fun. We don't have too many opportunities to play under the lights with spectators, so this is just a lot of fun. It's moving really fast, and we had a little bit of nerves to start, but I think now we're sort of finding our groove, finding our systems, and sort of playing our game again. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, often you'll get nerves like that on a big crowd here. Great atmosphere. What has impressed you with your opponents, the AO All-Star team?
They're just really, really athletic. They've made some incredible gravity-defying grabs. They move really quickly. Their deep game has really stretched us, so they're pushing us in that area. We're gonna try to contain them going into the next half, but they definitely bring a lot to the deep game and a lot to the game in general.
Yeah, the AO All-Star getting some early breaks. You took a timeout, and you've actually got your own breaks back, so kind of getting back into it. Any tactical adjustments you've made after that timeout, and what adjustments you're hoping to make in the second half to try and get that win?
I think we're going to keep trying to use the break side. I think that's opened up the field and allowed us to stretch it a little more, and going to play smart on some of their deeper cutters to try to force them to play a tighter game.
And then any players impressed you so far this game on your own squad?
Oh, everyone impresses me, of course. I love this team. Some moments of glory, I think Lauren's D where she caught up, that was just amazing to me. But everyone's been playing really well and stepping it up, so it's been fun to watch and to play.
Cool. Thanks very much, Ali. We'll let you get back to your huddle and your warm-up. Second half coming up shortly. Stay with us. Thank you very much. See ya. Thanks.
Okay, everyone, start to take your seats. The game is about to re-begin. We have one more note from a sponsor. Are you?
Wanna see the truth, ay. I'm already cool. Feed my ego till it's full, ay. You're hysterical. You don't wanna see the truth, ay. I'm already cool. Feed my ego till it's full, ay. You're hysterical. You don't wanna see the truth, ay. I'm already cool. Feed my ego till it's full, ay. You're hysterical.
Oh, Izzy, let's talk about your look, Izzy. What are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
Ay, whipping crazy, bro. Trying to jump right out of school, man. Almost finished though. Only got a few to go. Please just let my brain flow. Hope that paper would never know. Guess it kinda blows. Getting quarters, that's my dough. Trying to make it through the cover bookings, they not for a show. 25 just for a favor. Need to flex my studio. If you're flexing in these streets, some ladies turn this thing.
The score is 6-8. All-Stars are in the lead. What's going to happen in the second half? Well, Anna, that was a bad
Welcome back, everyone, to the Asia-Oceanic All-Star Tour, where the Stars are in the lead 8-6 as New York Bent
We have great content.
have been answering back with breaks of their own, but they find themselves 2 points behind at halftime. But they'll be coming out in offense here. Liam Grant alongside Eileen Murray. An amazing first half of Ultimate, Eileen.
This has been really exciting to watch. I just counted up the number of rookies that Bent had with them, and 14 are their first year on Bent, and so it's even more impressive to see them hanging with this team and finding their chemistry.
Yeah, it's a really cool atmosphere of this game, and it's something we saw at the World Ultimate Club Championships, the finals taking place indoor in a kind of small arena, and it makes for a good atmosphere. And you get the same thing here. A lot of the fans here stacked quite close to each other in the stand, and it makes a good atmosphere, you know. Another nice pull from the All-Stars. Stasi has it in the middle. Oh, no. Good poach effort from Kyra. This just now going up, a flick hook. Reeve trying to get position. Oh, and does fantastically well. Almost got on the second attempt. Oh, and there we see the wind come into play. That one just bobbling out of nowhere. Claplin gets a continuation swing, and there's Ali Harris Their interviewee from just a few moments ago. Their go-to high release backhand. Stasi wants another assist, but now goes to the reset. Hitson comes across. Allstars doing well to keep them out of the end zone. Stasi again, oh, tries to get that leading pass into the end zone, but not enough space. Bit of a red zone fever there.
We saw Bent trying to utilize the break side, as Ali was saying during an interview at halftime, prized at how much fun she's having, but then also how much she wants to eat after tournaments. Knowing that as a player, you get really tired, you're running around, but I think people who are coaching for the first time don't realize how taxing coaching can be, and you are just as tired and hungry after a tournament than if you were playing the game.
That's the excuse they're sticking to anyway for loading up on the carbs. We won't complain. So the score is 8-7. Bent breaking out a half. Such a cool skyline here in New York City. All sorts of highways and overpass that I'm definitely not used to, coming from a quaint little island called Ireland, but quite the spectacular landscape. And,
oh, that's threading a needle right there.
Yeah, that was a brave throw as well, as we see the handler mark sagging in the lane. And another one as well. Sneha doesn't hesitate at all to try and hit Agawa, who, oh! D comes out of nowhere. Looks like she was going to get that one in. Who else but K-Spa defending her own end zone.
Well, it looked like the two AO players were not really sure who was going to catch it and trying to be nice to each other, and then K-Spa took that opportunity to just snake right in there.
Yeah, perhaps a little too polite there. No, you have it. No, no, you have it. And K-Spa says, no, I'll have it. Thank you very much. I see onto this now, and looks like the Allstars, after coming on offense, transition to a zone.
I mean, that is a good idea, and how much the Bent offensive defense has been having trouble. They get the D right there.
And Sneha, amazing run through D. Bent caught out by her pace. And Agawa gets the goal this time round. Brilliant play there, and you see Sneha there. If you see her, she's wearing the jersey number 02, which that was a bit unusual. So I said I'd go up and ask her about it, and she gave me the best answer ever. She's like, "Oh well, actually, I used to do hurdles when I was younger, and I was actually a gold medalist, national championships of India, under 16s, under 18s, and 02 was actually her favorite lane. So the lanes in the athletics are named 01, 02. So that was her favorite lane to run in. That's why she's using the number 02 and not just 2. So you see her there using her athleticism that she fostered in the sport of hurdles, but now showing it on the ultimate field. And again, another goal for Shiori Agawa.
The math teacher in me wants to say so much about that 02, but I'm not gonna bore people with the math.
Bore us, please, please. We know there's plenty of mathematicians in the sport of ultimate. About 80% nerds last time I checked. So this is what they're craving, Eileen. Give them what they want.
Well, I would really like people to actually chime in on what they think about that in terms of place value, and if 02 is in fact the same number as 2. See what people say. See if we can do that on Twitter.
Maybe a live poll or something like that. I enjoyed her anecdote for why she's chosen number 02. I think that makes sense. I don't really understand how much difference lanes make, but what do I know?
Well, but there's a track event going on right behind us too, so that's pretty ironic, right there. That's why we keep hearing the start going off. First time it happened, a little pop, but now we know that there's a track meet.
I'll have to go look and see if the athlete in lane 02 is coming in first. Maybe Sneha after this game will do a lap herself, but Bent now on offense, trying to answer back. Looks like a foul called, uncontested. We see the hand signals being used there.
That is one of my favorite things about WIFTIF, is the fact that we have these hand signals, and so even if I'm spectating, I know exactly what's happening.
Yeah, they didn't do much discussion there at all. Kana Kobayashi, this one will give the Allstars a shorter field. Lira Mihin, Takana Kobayashi. Massive swing. Stretched like a slinky right now, the All-Stars. Looks like a call in the field. EJ saying she did not hear that one.
But the coach, before getting this started, and asking about their game plan, what their goals, and he said he really just wanted to make sure that the players had fun but remained competitive, and that they really just wanted to practice running their sets, gaining the chemistry. We see that I have 14 rookies out here with them, and just using this opportunity to gain more chemistry and to implement what they've been doing in practice. I know when I've seen Tina Booth talk a lot about that's what great players do. They practice something, and then when they get into the game, they don't have to think about it anymore. You're just going to implement it. So that's what, and Jeff being coached by Tina Booth through his college years, I see he's bringing that to this team as well.
Yeah, it's probably a good time this season for these kind of challenge matches for teams like Ben, Scandal, etc., because it gets them the opportunity to play in a kind of a stadium atmosphere, a lot more pressure on them than maybe they'll have in practices, and again to try out new things with a team that doesn't know them very well. So yeah, you can see that the Bent team are delighted to have this game on. I've done a lot as well to help organize this match, so we thank them for that. And there's 9
take off, get that space before the offensive player could do so.
Owen
That's an unfortunate drop.
comes out of the bread basket. Sangi shoots down the line. Hyrie Kim showing her pace. Oh, and a crazy grab. Will be maybe debated whether it's in or out of bounds. Either way, a fantastic catch. Showing her blistering pace, and looks like it's going to be called out. A lot of players on the sideline. We see the Ulti Photos photographer checking his recent shots, and to me that looks like it might have been in bounds, but hard to see from this far sideline.
Well, what is the rule for that when we have the tape here?
As far as I know, if you do move the tape and go under it, you take it as where it should be, and it would be out. But I think maybe her right foot was the first point of contact. Not entirely sure. Very difficult for either team to figure that out. But I like how they didn't waste any time. They came to a resolution quickly. Let's keep the play moving and the discussions to a minimum. So Bent back with the disc, a long way to go. Oh, and almost a Callahan opportunity for Ishida. I think she even got a touch of that one. That was tantalizingly close. Hitson has a lot of touches on the disc. Oh, and a gift for this All-Star team.
Little hesitation by the receiver 87, Emma. She's the youngest player on Bent. She's still in high school, Stuyvesant High School in the city. 17 years old.
Big swing from Holly Reeve. Now Yoshida, who almost got a Callahan with the disc. Great fakes. Opens up that break side. Hyrie Kim. Back to Meehan. Across to Reeve, attacks well. Another Hyrie Kim. As you can see, she rounded the corner there. Maybe lost her balance and couldn't get to the disc. Now in a vertical stack. This Bent team, looks like they call a timeout. That's maybe a good call. They looked a little bit spent on the field there.
That was a long point. I have to say that my favorite rule for the ADL is the fact that you can sub at timeouts. And I wish that we could do that. Doing substitutions at this point would be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they implement that in WFTF rules. What I do like is having fresh legs out there, because that will often keep the standard of the game high. So I think in points like this, where it's kind of a long grind, both sides look a little tired, and that's making the play slightly more sloppier than it usually is, it's great to bring on fresh legs. Interesting to see it tactically used. I've seen it before as just, the D-line gets a turn and they just time out and bring their O-line on. So that's unusual. I don't know if I'm that into that idea of being able to change lines essentially midpoint. But I do like the idea of, look, we're just going on a bit long. Let's get some fresh legs out there, purely for the fans' perspective, and that's That's something you often have to think about, like if we want this to become an easier sport to watch, and this is what we're doing here, putting on events like this for the players and fans alike. But they'll get their breather now in the timeout. They'll get a little bit of water, get a bit of rest. We see all 9 flags in the back of the grandstand. This multicultural all-star team.
And we had players from a lot of the other club teams helping out, players from Exist, players from Pony, from Brooklyn Book Club, all coming out to help support Bent in this event and helping with setup and selling tickets and everything. So it's been really nice community effort.
Yeah, big shout out to all those involved. We just get to do the fun part, Eileen, isn't that right? We just turn up and a bit of banter. I did drive about 14 hours yesterday, so I take a little bit of credit for that.
I don't know how easy that is.
Yeah, it was very rainy in Pennsylvania. I've never been there and I never want to go there again from my experiences of this long straight road and heavy rain. A lot of screaming passengers all wedged in a van, but it hasn't bothered them much. We see the huck go up. Looks like it was late in the stall count. Bit of a huck and hope there as the wind picked up as well.
Well, it looked like the wind tried to help her a little bit. It picked it up a little bit, give it a little bit more flight time. Unfortunately, not quite enough.
And throughout this game, we've seen the lighting adjust drastically, and that must be hard for players to adjust. DJ sends it to Meehan, who does well to chase it down, but a pick was called. So after that, great yard gainer for Meehan. It's going to go back. I'm not sure if that really affected that pass, which I think is something that Meehan's suggesting now. And in WFTF rules, if it's one pass and it didn't affect the play, it should still stand. But it went back to Emma Jane. And quite a squished up vertical stack here from the All-Stars. Hearing their coaches shout to spread it out a bit.
Here's maybe a little bit of where unfamiliarity comes into play.
Kyla Dare give the task of marking Meehan. Oh, and I don't know how Emma Jane came up with that one, hold away. And now we see Reeves shoot the end zone. Harry Kim gets the goal. Beautiful shot. Throwing in lanes that I never dream of throwing in, but doing it exquisitely well there.
I'd say every single one of those passes from half field were threading a needle. That was amazing. I think Brittany thought she had that D, and then suddenly the offensive player just came in right behind her, stole it.
And one of the things Alyssa Weatherford has done very well is created small little games for this team to play to help act as a catalyst in terms of team bonding. So one thing she did with after each game was get a player, so in this case Holly, to say 3 truths. I don't know if you're going to stand me there with my Irish accent there as I say.
3 truths and a lie.
Three truths and a lie. So I think it was 2 truths and a lie, so with 3 truths is what she called it. So I'm going to ask you now, Eileen, if you can guess, has Holly been to every continent in the world except Antarctica? Can she play the flute? Or does she has one brother? So 3 of those things, only one of them is a lie. Can you guess which one? Every continent in the world plays the flute or has one brother.
I'm going to say the flute.
That's what I said as well. It's not. It's every continent in the world. Not just a great thrower, but also can play the flute. Unfortunately, not bring it with us. So I'm still skeptical. Maybe with 3 lies, who knows? We should maybe have to doing some proof to justify these statements, but that's what she said.
There's got to be some video somewhere of her playing the flute.
Surely.
Demand that.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can see that it's a lot of work from the coaches as well, just to kind of get that team chemistry that clubs like Bent would have built up over a long time. But as you said, many of these players are only meeting yesterday or today even. Yoshida, who almost got that Callahan earlier, I think arrived yesterday evening and didn't go to Worlds or wasn't at the rival game. So it's not a lot of time to get to know your team.
Yeah. Well, that's really a testament to the skill level and the experience of these players, the fact that they can come onto a team, players that they don't know, and fit into a system and do a job.
Yeah, fair play to all the coaching staff for making that happen. Stacey, every second pass right now. Looking to get some give-go offense. Quite a passive zone look here from the All-Stars. Casey Guo on the mark. Getting some yards now. Sticking with the zone, the All-Stars.
They really look content on trying to make Ben throw as many passes as possible.
You know, we see the wind going from gusting to basically no wind right now, so probably playing into the hands of the bent zone offense. I think that does make sense when it was blustery as it was literally a few minutes ago. You want to make teams play as many passes as you can get out of them, try and force a turnover that way. But they look quite comfortable here now. Stasi struck on this halfway line. Eventually get some space as the All-Stars try to squeeze in.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Poppers getting a little bit more involved here.
Yeah, so many touches of the disc for these handlers. Sussman now getting it 2/3 of the way up the field. Stasi has that easy dump the whole time. Sussman back to Stasi. Pearl comes around the back, and they have that cut the whole time, Bent. They can always look behind them and lose yards but keep possession. But at some stage you got to try and force it upfield a bit more. Looking very confident doing so. Now on this far sideline, Nikki Pearl trying to orchestrate the offense, point where she wants her cutters to go. But quite stagnant now downfield. Perhaps both the offense and defense feeling tired. This point goes on, the longest point of the game so far without a turnover.
There's Mickey calling for it again on the side.
Maybe the All-Stars just trying to run down the clock here. And Pearl again, but so many touches herself. Now goes up line. Not enough space though. Stasi tries the high release backhand. Oh, and it gets there! Cleaned up by Ali Harris, who's been unstoppable this game. What a point for Ben, the mammoth. A marathon.
That was some amazing patience. And Bent having two of their rookies back there handling, Nikki Pearl and Megan back there handling with her. That was amazing patience for that team. Like you said, though, the wind dying down at this point definitely helped with that. I was surprised that the All-Stars decided to stay in that zone right up until the end zone line.
The mental fortitude of the bent O-line there, just to stay with it, trust that someone will get free eventually. It looks like Esther might got a touch on that, but there is Harris again backing up her teammates. Esther May Davidas unluckily to not get a block there, representing Malaysia on this All-Star tour. As we see Jimmy Mickle there in the stand. I was supposed to meet him last night for a beer, but I think he got to the bar a little too early and couldn't operate his phone. We were actually in this near sideline. Kyra gets up high and gets the continuation swing to Smith.
Looks like Ben is trying their force middle again.
Taylor with the disc. Oh, zippy little inside pass. Good hands by Neil. Oh, and a wayward pass in the end zone. That's a great goal. Looks like Sneha catches that one in the middle of the stack. Both teams showing their awareness.
How did that even happen? Watch that replay.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they were trying to do, but Sneha will get the goal nonetheless. Oh, and you see there's the undercut. Just went a little too high, and Sneha just got aggressive, used her body, and just threw herself at the disc, and a fantastic goal.
That's some great heads up. Both teams have shown this, knowing that it's windy, knowing that the throws aren't going to be precise all the time, and just being really heads up, backing up their teammates on both sides.
Catching the disc under the pressure from Neves. It's just that early little break run that's kept that cushion for the All-Star team. "87 minutes on the clock. So 13 minutes of regular time left, unless either team can get to the scoreline of 15, which will end the game.
Way to pass the time. Turn to the person sitting to your right.
And you're right, maybe that was why All-Stars decided to do zone, because they can start to run out the clock, making Bent take a long time on their offensive possessions.
Okay, so it's come to my attention.
Very creative signs there in the stands. Go the Frisbee.
What does that even mean?
The Frisbee's been going. As far as I can tell, it's been non-stop going. So congratulations to the Frisbee. You know, we don't credit the plastic itself enough in our game.
Oh, I get it.
Now Bent on offense. Need to be banging these ones in if they want to stay in the game. Hitson starts it off. Taylor. Back to Hitson. An anchor in this offensive handling unit. Oh, and looks like there could be a strip here. And again, such fast discussions. Or maybe going a little bit longer. Yoshida agreeing that it was maybe a strip. It's an uncontested call. Sussman hits straight to Taylor. Hitson. Oh, and a great run through D by Meehan, shows her pace. And no hesitation from Sangi. The Australian streaking deep. She wants to get this game over with. She is playing fantastic. Unless they get a call in the field, could be a taco disc, as we were just complimenting the disc. Now tacos itself. Very inconsiderate.
I have been really impressed again with the All-Stars, you know, playing not for very long
anybody
together,
have a
just a
good
couple of
Frisbee?
games. Some people the first game. It looks like their defense is switching very well, as you know, in communicating in that way. Maybe it's just knowing where to go. Again, experienced players understanding where the space is, being able to do that.
You know, all these players are all-stars in their own right, and tend to be the kind of number one player or number 2 or 3 on their squads, and have to adjust to this team of all-stars, you know, having to take maybe a lesser role than they're used to, but doing well to get all the cogs in this machine rolling, and they've been playing fantastic so far, coming up against this great New York side, and now leading by 4, a chance to extend that lead to 5. Vera happy with this, 175 grams.
Another pick called. A little discussion on the field.
It looks like it's coming back in. Another violation called. You see the V being made by Sangi, who threw that great huck. Now Harry Kim to Reeve. Great upline pace, knocking on the door now. Swings it to Reeve, who gets that classic end zone offense. Yoshida can't milk it in. Fakes the break side throw. Good patience here. Now back to Reeve. As Yoshida this time, he tries to milk it in on a second attempt. Looks like she traveled and will have to take it to the front of the end zone. Fakes the hammer. Tries a short little line to Sangi, and it's cleaned up.
I'd love to see some of the Bent players attacking the end zone a little bit more, like Sarah tried to do just there.
Wasting no time here. Moving the disc up the field. Taylor, don't think she's in. 1 yard to go. A lot of pressure. Does well to get the reset. The trustful hands of Hitson now. Will reset again. Now we see the lateral cut from Taylor, who's been dominant in the cutting lanes. All-Stars had a chance to extend the lead. We're knocking on the door, but Bent get it back and march up the field for a great goal.
Bent just basically had to do the 70 yards twice on that point. Some steady hands by Brittany Kaplan back there. Julie Sussman getting that heads-up D to prevent the All-Stars from going up by another point.
I'd like to take the opportunity to thank our primary sponsors, Double Happiness and Aria Discs. We've done a lot to make this tour happen, so big shout out to them. Also then to Tokai, the cleat sponsors. I actually got a pair myself before when I wrote a review, and I love them. Upwind Ultimate as well, and Layout Ultimate, the glove sponsor. So big shout out to all the sponsors. Many people involved in making this fantastic tour happen. And so cool as the games progress. We've gone from, you know, searing daylight to essentially total darkness now, and it doesn't seem to bother the players at all.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know when the lights turn on, getting used to like seeing several suns in the sky, and I know that frequently, depending on where the throw is going off, you can get blinded pretty easily by these lights. They're pretty low, very strong, but the players have been attending to it. You notice too, there's a little shadow at the back of the end zone, which could actually be causing some problems, but 12-9. See if Ben can get a break back here.
I'm pretty thankful there actually is only one sun in the sky usually. As a ginger pale Irishman myself, 4 suns sounds terrifying, the stuff of nightmares. Just those 4 big grandstand lights keeping this pitch well illuminated. And I actually think it maybe looks better on the live stream or on television to have the nightlight game, but I think it's probably more difficult as a player having those 4 objects that the disc can get caught up in visually anyway. Carey centers it to Moe. Nice cut from Mickey. Stays in bounds, not afraid to show that massive big backhand. Again, it's Ogawa going to the end zone, and she always has the separation, but maybe doesn't have the height matchup, so if it does end up being a 50-50 disc, she's been struggling to get those down. Great effort anyway. And it's a difficult matchup against probably their best defender, Casebah there, who's going to pick it up. Get this vertical stack going. Nice lateral cut from the front. Sends it back. Casebah commanding it, looking for a certain cut, but doesn't come there. And a great interception. Moe Samishima shoots it up line. They're knocking on the door. Back to Samishima. Brave swing out to the tall, statured Michaela again, who another turnover in this point, and she's maybe been a little trigger happy in the last minute or two.
Well, I have to say that I really like that she is turning and throwing, having that trust. I mean, she doesn't have a mark on her. She's getting the disc up. She's putting it to the right spaces, but like you said, maybe not being able to survey the field. In both cases, I think defenders were a little bit close. Throws maybe just a tiny bit off, but still, quick release is very impressive.
Another hawk, this time into the grandstand. Unfortunately, none of those players on the Bent roster.
And that's yours.
And that's maybe one for the fans to keep. Now they're going to give it back.
Give it back. Thanks, audience.
I'd be putting that in my back pocket if it was me. See if you can get away with it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't think that came in.
Using the AO All-Stars Aria discs. Isolating the front of the stack there. Now a cut from the back end, looks like a great goal. Take advantage of the short field. Score now 13-9, I believe.
Ben still with their heads up, enjoying the moment. And like
that was Moe Yashida, I should say Sameshima, getting a fantastic interception.
Well, again, another miscommunication to allow that interception to happen. Some of those coming from the bent rookies, I think, even though they do have high skill level and high ultimate IQ, you know, playing at the club level is a lot different than playing at the college or high school level. Just the speed of the game, the pace of the game, how, you know, assertive players on the field are. So as young players, it's, you know, sometimes a transition to figure out what that looks like and feels like on the field.
Esther May Davidas hitting Shori Ogawa for another goal, and there she gets another goal. She hasn't come down with all the deep shots, but she is, I believe, the top scorer of this AO All-Star so far. And yeah, now just 2 points away from taking the win.
2 minutes left.
2 minutes on the clock as well. If we do reach 100 minutes, it'll be finish the point and add 1 to the highest score. Big pull from Taylor. And we see this zone look again. Something I've seen more of an Australian style zone, but actually a lot of the Japanese and Southeast Asian players in the front of it having maybe the more difficult role. Emma Jane Holloway doing so well to shut down that continuation on the swing. Sydney Vang. Now Janine. Back to Pearl. Oh, and they try and shred the middle. But Kana Kobayashi does enough. And they don't hesitate yet again. This Ulster team. Oh, and a great run through D.
20 from captain Stasi Tangerlini.
Stasi Tangerlini all over the field.
Setting up the zone again. Has been effective.
Pearl with it now. A lot of talk from the sideline. This All-Star team have a roster of 21 and using everyone effectively, especially playing a zone like this. You know, there's a lot of running, so they need every player to work their hardest. Stasi again. Pearl getting very involved in this zone offense. Now they're finding some space. The All-Star team trying to recover. Just moving the disc a little faster now, this bent team. Oh, and that pass just catches Stasi off guard. Let's see if they hook it first pass this time, the All-Star team. A bit more patient. Veer on the knee sideline. Goes for the swing. Nice continuation. Yoshida going for the big gainer. Oh, and it's an easy intercept for Stasi. And she throws it straight back to Yoshida. Seems playing a little game of catch there. The give go doesn't work as well with your opposition. Oh, and the wind playing a factor here in that pass. Again, it just comes and gusts, goes up to 15, 20 miles an hour, then back down to nothing. Very difficult to mentally stay tuned to that wind. But they'll stay in this zone. And not a lot of pressure on this bent offense. Oh, as a swing does not come out right. That's not how you throw a flick.
A lot of pressure on the bent handlers to do a lot of the heavy lifting in this zone.
Taylor to Kyra, around to Kana. Big swing to EJ, who shoots the end zone. Looks like this one's going to pay off, and a great goal. Defender comes flashing past, but well held on by Veera Sethuraman.
And that's 14-9 for the All-Stars.
So it is now game point to the All-Stars. They'll have the opportunity to break to win, as I have Eileen Murray here doing the WFDF hand signal for
All-Stars
game point.
15.
Would you like to describe what that looks like?
It's the dab.
It's a dab. It's a dab.
With
I don't know who
9.
squeezed that one in the
Great game, everybody.
hand signal handbook, but they pulled a fast one on the rules committee, because that is just a dab. That's all it is.
I love it.
I'm sure the fans would love to
And
see a double
final thank
dab
you
if it gets
to
a double
our
game point.
volunteers this evening.
Big ask for Bent though, as they
Also, quick
trail
update.
14-9.
Ann and I didn't know we could be heard on the live stream, so blanket apology.
Hey, it's been done. They could score 5 in a row.
5,
How
but
long-
not 6, not 6 though. They can score 5. I'm okay with them scoring 5.
Understand.
But not 6.
The Neils, everybody back there.
I think they're ending the game. There's an event that's supposed to be going onto the field afterwards that starts exactly at 9. So looks like they're having to call the game to make sure that we get off the field in time for the next event to start.
That is the first win on tour for the AO All-Stars. What a fantastic game. Brilliant play all around. Bend can have their heads held high. They played fantastic. Again, this is just the first of a series. We're going to wrap this one up quickly. Liam Grant here at Eileen Murray. Any final thoughts, Eileen?
I'm really excited to see the next games that this team plays, because I imagine they're just going to get better and better with each game that they wind up competing in.
Yeah, so we'll be coming to you live as well as we take on Philadelphia Green Means Go tomorrow. Big shout out to everyone who watched the live stream, came out here to watch the game in person. What a fantastic event. Great to have these athletes showcased. That's all for me and Eileen, and stay tuned for more.
Alti.tv